Well, welcome to another behind the scenes. Today we're going to the Jack Daniel's Distillery to pick a barrel with Sprayberry Bottle Shop. Come join us.
Bourbon whiskey. We've gone through every step and standard to call ourselves a top shelf bourbon whiskey. We've just always done an extra step that they don't do. Let's drip our whiskey through charcoal as a filter. That extra step is what makes you a Tennessee whiskey. And I bring that up now because where we're going is actually where we're making the charcoal for the mellowing process. Pretty much the same way Jack Daniel's himself did it. Now I see your wristbands for slushies, no running. But right down this hill here, there's a little trailer. Show them your wristband, they'll hook you up with your drink. Come on down. So these are some of the master distillers through the years. Now, Jack's teacher, mentor, father figure, Nathan Green, our first master distiller, his photo should be here. It's not, because there's no known photos of Mr. Green to this day. Now this is Jack and an early crew. Always easy to pick out Jack when you remember. How tall was he? 5'2". He beats to it, 5'2". There's Jack's foot, legs stretched out, pretty much standing. 5'2", Jack Daniel right there. Now beside Jack is George Green. That's nearest Green's son. These two men in a photograph side by side this long ago in history. That seems odd to some folks. It's not around here. Doesn't take you long to remember Jack and George. They would have grown up on Dan's farm making whiskey practically as brothers. So after the Civil War, no brainer. Jack hired his friend, and evident from this photo, right-hand man George to come work with him. And there are still members of the Green family that work here to this day. Now you go through the years, bottom right, you got Chris Fletcher. Chris started out here 19 years old as a tour guide. Passed me up pretty quick, didn't he? He got a chemistry degree in college. That took his life back to Brown Forman He was doing research and development across everything they do. He was doing good enough, another distillery hired him outright. Jack Daniel Distillery thought, no way, we got to get him back. So they offered him a first ever position, which was assistant master distiller to Jeff Arnett. Jeff retired, Chris took over. Now, all of our tour guides here, we do this a little different. I feel like you have to give credit where credit is due. So I always say, whiskey making world in his own right, Chris is brilliant. But if you'd rather keep talking family, this was Chris's grandfather. Frank Bobo was a master distiller here from 1966 to 1988. And it's still very family oriented. Although there's almost 800 people employed at Jack these days, 60% of that is still generational workers. Yeah. I'm a weirdo outsider. I don't have any family that works here, but don't tell anybody. I've snuck in pretty good. Questions here? So this is the old office belonging to that guy right there, Jasper Newton Daniel, better known by his nickname, Jack. Jack was a whiskey making, music loving party guy. Y'all come on, he's drinking, be merry. Jack's paying for it again. If this party wasn't at his house this time, go check one of the 2 saloons on the town square of Lynchburg that he owned. It might have been down there. You need a loan, you know who to ask. You probably don't have to pay it back. And the way he was with his money, so free, it bothered his nephew, Lynn Motlow. Business savvy, mathematician. There's a rumor he tried to put his own Uncle Jack on a budget. Yeah, I give you some dynamic for who they were. Now Jack did something in here one morning in 1905 that was very rare for him to do. What he did that morning so rare was he showed up to work early. Yeah, he was a night owl. He came in and thought, hey, if I'm the only one here, this is my office. I can start this day just like anybody else normally does. Bent down to his floor safe over there, going to get his paperwork out, maybe lay it on the desk. And I say maybe because we don't know. He didn't get that far. He couldn't get his safe open. You ever have trouble with your passwords? Same concept. Well, Jack tried for a while to find that temper he had. He lost it. He got mad. He hauled off and kicked that safe. It was a good kick. It broke his toe. Well, he didn't rush right away to the doctor, but when he got there, he said, Jack, I wish you'd gotten here sooner. It's broke, but there's an infection. So, modern medicine, 1905, they removed his toe to stop the infection. It didn't slow it down. The infection was rising up. A few years later, another amputation. Jack lost his foot. That was to no avail. You take from the morning Jack kicked this safe, go in the future 6 years. Jack's no longer showing up at work. He can't. He's only suffering in bed. Blood poisoning coursing through his veins. That doctor has one last attempt to save his life. He amputates eye almost to his left hip. Doesn't stop. 1911, 61 years old, Jack Daniel died and results keeping this safe in this office right here. I know. That's a sad story on a fun vacation day. I hope you know I'm obligated to tell that story.
My name's Mike. I'm senior operations manager here at Jack. So I work in production. Came down here, started at Jack in 2003. I've been with Brown Foreman since '96. So I've been with Brown Foreman a little over 28 years, I think now. My first job with Brown Foreman was helping to restore Woodford Reserve. We went in for all the, it was overgrown with everything. If you've ever drank Woodford, or ever been there, that's where I'm from. I'm actually from Frankfort, Kentucky. Family, I grew up in the bourbon industry. Family works in the bourbon industry. Couldn't have told you anything about Jack 21 years ago, 22 years ago. No, I could have a little because I worked for Brown Foreman. But before Brown Foreman, you didn't see a lot of Jack in Central Kentucky. You just don't. They sell it there, I think, but you go to a liquor store in Frankfort, Kentucky, and you see bourbons or Bardstown anywhere around there. But I strayed away from it and moved down here, and the only person in my family that's left the bourbon industry. I tell them we take bourbon and make it better, is what we do at Jack. No, Jack is a bourbon, all standards. The only thing we do separately is we do the charcoal mellowing after distillation. That's the only different thing we do. We meet all the bourbon standards, so but it makes it a Tennessee whiskey by doing that process. If you have any questions during this, feel free to ask about anything. I do know where these barrels came from, which warehouses they came from. I know the proof. May not be the exact proof you get when you get your barrel because it's not been bottled yet. It changes, but it'll be close. It'll be very close. Where's everybody from, by the way?
Atlanta.
Everybody's Atlanta?
Yeah.
Not originally, but now.
Atlanta.
City of transplant.
I told you I'm from Kentucky. I actually went to Eastern University, but I grew up a huge University of Kentucky fan. Because that's what you do when you live in Kentucky.
So I shouldn't call it Christian.
But we call, I don't know, I can handle Christian a little better now than I could when I was 21 and that happened. But we call Atlanta Catlanta. When they had a tournament down there, called Catlanta. Yeah. Because University of Kentucky does really well when they play in tournaments in Atlanta.
Coming in is it November? The tournament in November in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Because we call you, I'm from Kansas, we call you guys the other KU.
The other.
That's right.
It's kind of hard to pour everything with this, isn't it? So, I can't see everything else. Trying to make it. Guess I should have brought all the bottles with me.
Would you like us to help you?
We'll be a little quicker at this if we do that.
Pass it around.
Yeah. Put this one in your right glass. And during this, if you need to replenish your glass, just holler, and we'll get you filled back up.
Hopefully not with that food.
I don't know, it's Friday. I drink quite a bit, man.
It is Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the mash bill for us?
On the rye, this rye is the, it's 70, 18, 12.
That sounds right.
70% rye. I think that's, when we first did rye, I think they had a little bit different mash bill, like 72, 1880 or something like that. I think this is 70.
That's what John said up to her.
Well, that's, yeah, he would have been right. I get them all confused in my head, we got all the time. Y'all can talk. I'm not going to try and influence you in any way, shape, or form, just because what I like may not be what other people like. And
I didn't know if you had like a roadmap, like.
nope, all I usually do is tell people if you haven't done tastings or if you do tastings, your left to right is 1, 2, and 3, what you can call them. And that's what we did is 1, 2, 3, not less different. But these are set up like your left to right. Once you go 1, 2, 3, I always go back to 1 to compare against 3. And a lot of people will try and they'll do it. They'll take a consensus, maybe get it down to 2, and then start looking at those 2.
Their causes or levels? Or
They're all single barrel Barrel proof, all this barrel proof, it all comes off the top floor. So up here, that's the 7th floor on these warehouses you see around here, around us. When you go to track 2, which is about 2 miles down the road where my office is at, where the main bottling facility is at, there's 47 wood warehouses we can put single barrel in down there, and those are 4 stories high. So they're all on the 4th floor. Same thing at track 3, 2 more miles down, there's 9 warehouses where you can put single barrel in, 4th floor. So all top floor, but I say we've got all those warehouses, but just like track 2, like say track 2 for instance, we won't use every warehouse. Like out of those 47 warehouses available that we could put single barrel in, we don't use all of them because some mature better than others. But no, I drink it.
But what's your favorite?
Actually, my favorite's probably the barrel proof Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be my second though.
Yeah.
The rye barrel proof. I love the rye barrel proof, and I wasn't a rye drinker. I would have told you I didn't like rye before I tried this. And where this came, we put some up several years ago, back in 2012 or 13, and was our oldest rye. And I was up doing a tasting actually in the warehouse. We take internal sales and marketing people, talk Can Jack. We go to the warehouse, it's like the 7th floor. This was on the 7th floor at the time. Drill a barrel and taste it. I usually did a single barrel, regular Tennessee whiskey. There's some 3-year-old rye sitting there next to it. And I was like, well, let's drill a barrel and see what it's like. We drilled it, and I was like, this is phenomenal. I mean, when I tasted it, when it crossed my tongue, I was like, oh my gosh, just the fruit and everything went across my tongue. I was like, this is amazing. It doesn't taste like regular rye. To me, it did.
No.
And it was only 3 years old at the time. So when we started the barrel proof program, we always begged to do barrel proof anyway because we went up and did those tastings and it was always barrel proof when we tasted it near Jeff Arnett at the time, was an actual store. And we were always like, why can't we put this in the bottle? I mean, if we finally got to do a barrel proof, when the rye came around, I was like, we need to do a barrel proof rye. And so we got that. That's another saying, that's one of the sayings I know. I don't know, I'm not sure what, I'd have to look at the list and see what foolproof means. We don't do anything. It's labeled foolproof. I don't know what the definition, if you know what the definition of foolproof is. So that'd be original proof, like I said, that's like if you said original proof. No, we don't cut anything. We put it in at 125. We don't initially cut anything at 125.
777, that's lucky.
It's out of
Jackpot barrel.
it's out of warehouse 106, which would be 106 7th floor, which is on this track.
That's a lot of stuff.
Okay, so that's
It's on this track. This is track 1. This is track 1.
off the lot.
Hey man, it's your pick.
It's your pick.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with the points, and we'll go based on what high price would sell more.
Right. Which is
Which we know.
bottom line is.
It comes down to the marketing at the end of the day.
Yes.
Also backed up for the profile.
Yeah.
So the first one won, number 1 by 17 points.
Wow.
The third one was number 2 by 14 points. The second one was 11 points. So it's pretty much down to 1 and 3. So it all comes down to marketing as to
Number 3 is the easiest.
what's gonna pull people's attention more. Unfortunately, these days, that's why you didn't show us the proof.
Yeah.
It comes down to the proof. The
I'll do
higher
big
the proof,
Higher
more
proof.
desirable I want the pig.
Plus the story behind 3 is easier to sell.
Yeah.
Exactly. The 7s is what really lines up everything, and it's like it makes it more desirable to.
Ties into old number 7.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, so it's like everything combined. So we'll go with 3.
7th
Yeah.
floor.
It's a great story.
Oh, it's a great story.
Yeah, it's all
It is on floor
Seven-
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
I
in
would-
the-
I would
it was
tell
in
you
the
from a
top
bourbon guy's
floor of the
perspective,
warehouse that 7 stories in.
3 is a lot better than 1. From someone that might want to buy this, from someone that drinks bourbon,
Mhm.
that's me, I would buy 3.